Hey guys, come on downstairs. We're playing Minnesota Twins franchise. It's games 131 through 133 of year number 3. And we're on the road to face the Baltimore Orioles from Oriole Park at Camden Yards. We're coming off a 3-game sweep over the Cleveland Indians from Target Field. The Indians spiraling downhill fast in the American League Central. The Orioles are last place in the AL East. And they come into this matchup at 58-72. We are 10 games above 500. Going into game 131, our lineup will be Myers, Piscotty, Rosario, Sano, Valbuena, Mesoraco, Peterson, Bonifacio, and Buxton. The Orioles will go with Joey Rickard, Markakis, Machado, Davis, Gaddis, Trumbo, Jones, Scope, and Asdrubal Cabrera at short. Scope batting 198 on the season, just under the Mendoza line. Jose De Leon will start for us. He's 5-2 with a 3.90 ERA. He will pass the 100-inning mark in this game. Kevin Gausman having a good year for the last-place Orioles. He is 10-9, a 3.85 ERA. Pitched over 150 innings, 128 strikeouts to 43 walks. And we're going to pick up highlights of this one in the first inning. Eddie Rosario batting 288, 10 home runs, 67 RBIs, a 429 slugging percentage. First pitch of the at-bat with 2 outs in the top of the first. And Eddie Rosario gets one right in his wheelhouse. And he parks it out into the right field stands. Gives the Twins a 1-0 lead with a solo home run. We move to the bottom of the first inning now. Manny Machado at the plate. He's batting 272 with a runner on first and 1 out. Machado's going to split the gap in left center field. And that will one-hop the wall. Hit about halfway up the wall. Buxton will field it. Runner's coming around third, and he is going to score without a throw. So Manny Machado, his 24th double of the year, gets the Orioles even at 1 apiece. Will Myers now. We documented his struggles in the last episode. Really having a hard time lately with 2 men on and 2 outs, and Will Myers might have just broken out of his slump. That is the first home run in a Twins uniform for Will Myers, 20th on the season, but he went like his last month in San Diego without hitting a home run, and then his first month in Minnesota. So it's been a very long home run drought for Will Myers. It's broken right there. That puts the Twins up 4-1. Evan Gaddis now at the plate for the O's in the bottom of the 6th with 2 outs, a 3-2 count. And Jose De Leon gets him to chase the slider down and away off the plate. And at the end of the 6th, the Twins hold on to that 4-1 lead. Both teams with 5 hits. We go to the 9th inning. We bring on JT Chargois to try to close this game out. Kevin Segrist getting the day off. So Chargois gets the save opportunity. He's facing Evan Gaddis with 2 outs, nobody on, an 0-2 count. And Gaddis pops it up into foul territory down the left field line. And Eddie Rosario coming over near the wall, makes the catch. That ends the game, and the Twins get the win. They're 5th in a row, I believe. Maybe just their 4th in a row. I know we swept the last series against the Indians. So at least our 4th in a row. But the Orioles lead the season series 4-1. They had a 4-game sweep earlier in the season back at Target Field. So a 4-1 victory for the Twins. Jose De Leon picks up his 6th win. JT Chargois gets his first save of the year. Kevin Gausman tagged with the loss. And we move into the second game of this 3-game series. We're 11 games over 500. The Orioles 15 games under 500. And we are at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. And the starting lineups for game number 2, Myers, Piscotty, Nunez, Sano, Valbuena, Peterson, Mesoraco, Vargas, and Emilio Bonifacio will give Buxton a breather out in center field. Rickard, Lagares, Machado, Davis, Gaddis, Trumbo, Scope, Markakis, and Asdrubal Cabrera. For the Orioles, on the hill for us will be Alex Meyer, 3.60 ERA. Should pick up his 150th strikeout in this game. And he will face Chris Tillman. 3.85 ERA in 154 and a third innings, giving up 155 hits, 49 walks, 116 strikeouts on the year. We go to the 3rd inning of this game. Eduardo Nunez batting 307, 342 on base percentage. Second best average on the team behind Will Myers. And Eduardo Nunez chases one off the plate. Can't make contact. The middle of the 3rd, we still have no score. The Twins with 3 hits, the Orioles with 1. Manny Machado at the plate now. Juan Lagares at the plate now. And Alex Meyer gets him to strike out looking. At the end of the third, we still have no score. May have a pitcher's duel brewing here in Baltimore. Fourth inning, Luis Valbuena, batting .296 on the season, has mostly faced right-handed pitching this year. That's the reason his batting average is so much higher. And he's going to drive this one deep to center field. And Adam Jones runs out of room. Or sorry, that was Juan Lagares out in center field. He runs out of room. And the Twins lead 2-0 in the middle of 4. Chris Davis at the plate now. .256 average. Runner on first, nobody out. And he's going to ground it to short, and it eats up Eduardo Nunez and goes into left field. And we're going to have runners on the corners now with nobody out, and the Orioles maybe putting a little rally together. Mark Trumbo with one out now. Runner still on the corners. He lines it down the first baseline into the corner. Piscotty digs it out. Sorry, Will Myers digs it out. I'm struggling with who's out in the field for us today. That was Will Myers. It's an RBI double for Mark Trumbo, and that leaves runners on second and third with one out for Jonathan Scope. It's 2-1. Minnesota. Nunez on to first. Another run comes in to score. That ties the game up at 2 at the end of 4. Next inning. Will Myers back at the plate. 0 for 2 on the day. And Will Myers is going to get a hold of another one. So he goes 2 months without hitting a home run, and then he hits home runs in back-to-back games. And that gives us a 3-2 lead in the middle of 5. We move on to the 7th. Jimmy Dyer comes in off the bench, out of the bullpen, making his 37th appearance. Bottom of the 7th inning, runners on the corners with one out. Twins leading 4-3. And the O's are going to drop down the squeeze play, and it works. Vargas will tag the runner for the out, but the run comes in to score, ties it up at 4. And Chris Davis is at the plate now. Grounds it to the left side. Piscotty up and throwing. Runner around third, heading to the plate, and he is going to be gunned down by the strong throw from Piscotty. Right on line, Juan Lagares tagged out at the plate at the end of 7. We're all tied up at 4 as you see Jim Palmer. 8th inning. This is Jace Peterson at the plate with a runner on second and one out. Game still tied up at 4. And Peterson is going to loop this one into center. And the diving play is made by Lagares. And they've got Valbuena in the rundown. And Valbuena is going to be tagged out by Manny Machado. In the middle of 8, it is still all tied up at 4. Mark Trumbo now in the bottom of the 8th inning with a runner on first. Facing Jimmy Dyer. And not a bad pitch by Jimmy Dyer, but Trumbo goes the other way with it. Slider down and away, and it's a 2-run home run for the O's. And Trumbo puts them up 6-4. Really not a bad pitch, but you got to tip your hat to the hitting. Trumbo gives the Orioles the win, a 6-4 victory. They increase their season series lead to 5-1 in game number 132. Asher Tolliver gets the win out of the bullpen. Jimmy Dyer gets the loss. Luke Gregerson came in the 9th and picked up his 31st save for Baltimore. So we have a 4.5 game lead over the Tigers in the American League Central going into the final game of this series. We're 71-61. The O's 59-73. Our lineup in this last game will be Myers, Nunez, Rosario, Sano, Valbuena, Vargas, Peterson, Murphy, Buxton. They will go with Rickard, Markakis, Machado, Davis, Gaddis, Trumbo, Jones, Scope, and Asdrubal Cabrera at short once again. Jose Barrios will make the start for us. 19th of the season, a 4.44 ERA. He will also go over the 100-inning threshold. And he'll face Hunter Harvey, who's pitched exactly 100 innings on the season. Not a great strikeout to walk ratio for Harvey. It's like 66 strikeouts, 48 walks, something like that. So Jose Barrios facing Mark Trumbo, who won the game for the O's yesterday. And he gets Trumbo to swing through the fastball. We go to the 3rd inning. It's scoreless. Hunter Harvey on the hill for the O's facing Will Myers. And the runner going, Byron Buxton is going to have the stolen base. The throw was in the dirt. And Gaddis has no play at second. So Will Myers swings and misses with a runner in scoring position. And Eduardo Nunez comes up with 2 outs. Runner on second, chance to drive in the game's first run. A 2-2 delivery from Harvey. And the umpire rings him up. That catches the low outside corner. Then we go to the 4th inning. Twins strand the runner at second. Eddie Rosario at the plate now. Top of the 4th. Very first pitch of the inning, and Hunter Harvey hangs a breaking ball. And Eddie Rosario goes the other way with it. Solo home run. It's 1-0 Minnesota. We move on to the 5th. Adam Jones. He's batting .248 on the season. 0 for 1 on the day with 2 outs. And he's going to drive this one deep to center field. Buxton is going back, looking up at the track, and it's into the bullpen. Solo home run for Adam Jones, 15th of the season for him. That ties the game up at 1 at the end of the 5th inning. We move on to the 6th now with Valbuena at the plate. He's 0 for 2 on the day, facing the right-handed Hunter Harvey with the bases loaded and 1 out. And he's going to ground it through the hole on the right side. 1 run comes in to score. They're sending another runner around third, and he is not going to make it. Eddie Rosario tagged out of the plate, but Valbuena's RBI single gives the Twins the lead 2-1. And now we see Asdrubal Cabrera at the plate for Baltimore, still facing Jose Barrios. And Asdrubal Cabrera goes the other way, driving it high and deep to right field. It's gone if it's fair, and it is. Solo home run for Cabrera. Ties the game up at 2 apiece as we head to the final 3 frames. Andy Oliver, 59th appearance out of the bullpen for the Orioles. 3.33 ERA. Top of the 8th inning with a 3-2 count to Eduardo Nunez, And Nunez drives it the opposite way, and that one gets into about the 3rd row, giving the Twins a 3-2 lead, breaking the tie here in Baltimore. Final game of the year between the Twins and the Orioles. We move on to the final inning. Kevin Segrist trying to earn save number 42. He's got a 1.68 ERA. You see the batting averages against 190-something and 174-something against righties and lefties. And Trumbo at the plate, and he's going to drive this one high down the left field line. A home run would tie the game up, and it is drifting just to the left side of the foul pole. So it's a long strike, 0-1 count, drive to right field this time. And Stephen Piscotty is there to close out the game. The ball turned him around a little bit, but he makes the play. So the Twins get the win in the final game against the Orioles this season. The O's win the season series 5-2, though. And we remain 4.5 games ahead of the Detroit Tigers, who are pretty hot lately, actually. I think 7-3 in their last 10. And they have moved above 500 to 67 and 65. So they are still hot on our tails. The Indians have dropped a little bit. They're down 9. Let's look at the rest of the American League. In the East, the Blue Jays just swept the Yankees to take a 3-game series lead. They were tied coming into this 3-game set. The Red Sox, 4 games back. The Rays, 9 back. And we have already looked at the Central. Out in the West, the Angels have a 2-game lead over the Rangers, 12 games over the A's, 13 over the Astros, and the Mariners tied for the worst record in the AL with the Chicago White Sox. The Yankees and the Rangers would be your 2 wildcard teams in the American League. A quick look at the NL. The Nats with a 2-game lead over the Phillies. Cubs 3.5 over the Pirates, 5 over the Cardinals. The Pirates and Cardinals would be your 2 wildcard teams in the National League if the playoffs started today. The Dodgers have the biggest lead in baseball, 15 games over the San Francisco Giants, who just jumped over the Rockies. Rockies are 15.5 back. The D-backs 16.5 back. Padres 24 back. And the Dodgers hold the best record in all of baseball right now. The Cubs are the 2-time defending champions, so it'll be interesting to see how this season closes out down the stretch. That is games 131 through 133, a benchmark 150th episode of Minnesota Twins franchise here on Mama's Basement Sports Gaming.